your fight this Saturday will be the 4th time that you've competed in 3 months, am I right?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yes. Now, so how has your body reacted to such a hectic training schedule and fight schedule?
It's actually been not that bad. Fighting, luckily for me, since I left UFC, I haven't taken any damage in a fight other than like a black eye or two. So I haven't really gotten hurt. So fights, for me, I typically get hurt training more than fighting. Even in UFC, I didn't get hurt the 3 times I fought. I mean, I got a bloody nose against Struve and a couple of black eyes against Moorcraft. But usually when you train, especially when you train with people like Matt Mitrione or Tim Sylvia, or whatever, who hit really hard when they spar, like typically most of my injuries come training, not fighting. So since I got released from the UFC, I've taken a different approach to, I've kind of taken a different approach to everything, and thinking, you know what, I get hurt more hard sparring than I do fighting. Why not, instead of hard sparring, why not just fight and get paid to do it? You know, if you're going to take a beating, you might as well, be getting paid to do it. So, I'll fight a little cheaper than I would like to. For the right opponent, I fought a guy not long ago, I only made $3,000, but I won in a minute 5, or I think a minute 10 or so. So, to go, fight for a minute and only make $3,000, I mean, it's good training, and I would be taking the beating training otherwise. So, for the right opponent, I'll fight cheap and just make my money and build my record a little bit.
Right, of course. Now, since leaving the UFC, you say you've taken a different approach to your training. So how much do you feel you've improved since being released by the UFC?
Well, the biggest thing for me, when I can fight at my natural weight, I walk around about 310 pounds, in shape at 305, 310 pounds. Cutting to 265 is hell on earth for me. I mean, it is really hard on me. So I am twice the fighter at, say, 300 pounds than I would be at 265. Especially not have to make the giant weight cut to get down there, and what it does to my cardio and what it does to me physically. I just do not feel good when I fight. When I fight at 265, I don't feel good going into the fight because I've had to starve myself down and cutting that much weight. When you're cutting 20 pounds the final couple of days to make the weight, it is not, 15 to 20 pounds. That is not fun, and it does, plays hell with your cardio.
Okay, now, so clearly you feel like your natural weight is around the super heavyweight limit above 265 pounds. If the UFC were to introduce a super heavyweight division, do you feel like do you consider yourself the #1 super heavyweight in the world?
I wouldn't say I'm #1 because there's a lot of guys that, Brock Lesnar, if that's super heavyweight and Brock was still fighting, he would probably fight at super heavyweight instead of heavyweight because I know he cuts to make the weight too. You got some guys that cut to make that limit, so it would be hard to say. As far as active super heavyweight right now, and guys that, obviously Strikeforce doesn't have super heavyweight near this Bellator or UFC, so outside those promotions, I definitely think I'm the, #1 super heavyweight. Maybe, Tim Sylvia, I don't know, me and him are friends. I guess I didn't think about him, but he's moving back to fighting. He fought his last fight at 265, so he's fighting at heavyweight again. But he are probably 1 and 2 outside those promotions.
Right. Now, this Saturday, the 31st of March, your opponent is Brian Heden. Now, how much do you know about your opponent, and how do you expect this fight to play out?
I don't know a lot about him other than, I've talked to a couple guys that fought him. They said he's got good cardio for a big guy, which you always hate to hear. It's one of the biggest, advantages in fighting bigger, heavier guys is you have the advantage of knowing they're probably going to get tired before I do. I'm in pretty good shape for a guy my size, so... I've heard he's got good cardio. I think I'm better at everything than him. I think I'm better stand-up, better wrestle, better on the ground. So I don't, necessarily really have a game plan going into the fight. He may be able to dictate where the fight takes place. If he wants to keep it standing, as long as I'm, winning the stand-up, I'll stand up with him the entire fight. If he wants to try to take me down, then he's very likely going to get taken down instead if he tries to clinch with me. So I think I'll win by, submission either way, either submission by... a joint lock or choke, or by strikes, submission by strikes. I don't typically knock guys out that much. Usually I hit a guy 3 or 4 times and they kind of start changing their mind on wanting to fight. So a lot of times they'll tap the strikes before they get knocked out.
Okay, now, if it was up to you, where would you, once you've put this fight behind you on Saturday, where would you ideally like your next fight to take place? I know you've competed for Bellator, obviously you fought for UFC in the past. Are you aiming for a UFC return later in the year?
I really would. This will be, assuming I win this fight, this will be my 7th in a row outside the UFC, 7th win in a row. Before I'm done fighting, I would like to fight in the UFC at least one more time, but really depends on what this company I'm fighting for, this WMMA, is really putting a lot of money into this promotion, and they've got a show they're trying to schedule for Brazil in May, and I would be interested definitely in fighting for them again, assuming the money is the same. I'd like to go to Brazil too. That would be a cool place for me to see. Kind of like if I'm going to do this, at least I'd like to fight out of my hometown as much as possible, so you get to kind of see the world as you do it. But well, we had a deal for me to fight over in Russia. I was talking to my agent, Monty Cox. I was talking to him this morning. We thought we had a deal to fight over in Russia at the end of May. And I guess fell through this morning. I guess the guy wasn't who he said he was with the promotion. There's some kind of shady stuff going on. I don't know. So I guess it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So I don't have anything scheduled when I'm done with this fight. So I guess we'll just see. I know I'm going to go do whatever I want for about 10 days. Like I'm going on a cruise with my girlfriend and eating whatever I want and drinking whatever I want for 10 days because I'm tired of working out and trying to be in shape. So.
Right. Okay. Now. You are known for being one of the most outspoken fighters in MMA. You've never been afraid of, calling guys out and hyping up a fight with, trash talk, and you are one of the best at that. So, if you could handpick your next opponent, who would it be, and would you have any, chosen words for them?
My ideal opponent, even though it would never happen because of the weight difference, I would love to fight Chael Sonnen, not because I want to fight Chael, but because the trash-talking battle between him and I and the hype up to the fight would be something I don't think MMA has ever seen, because I could hang in there line for line with Chael all day long. So obviously that fight will never happen just because of how much bigger I am than him. Somebody said, you guys could do it at catchweight. I said, yeah, catchweight up to 275. Just because I'm not, like 255 is a killer for me. So, but yeah, I would, other than that, I don't really know. I would, if I'm being honest with you, I would like to fight the worst opponent for the most money, given my choice next. So, I'd like to fight whoever I'm going to beat the fastest for whatever, the biggest amount of money I can get is, because unlike everybody else, I'm honest, I do this for money. I wouldn't be doing it for free. And these guys say all the time, I'll fight, I do this for free. Like, well, you're retarded or something if you do this for free, maybe not at the local level, but you're fighting the best fighters in the world, like the UFC level, and if you literally do that for free, then there's something wrong with you. There's nothing fun about getting hurt or hurting people, and if you fight in the UFC, win or lose, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just one final question. Obviously, you've done some great things in your fighting career, but is this where you see your career kind of playing out in mixed martial arts? Do you think you're going to stick exclusively to fighting, or with obviously you have a gift for the gab? So would you like to maybe cross over to doing some announcing, some presenting, or are you just going to stick to fighting in the cage?
I really dislike the fighting part of fighting, so I just happen to be good at it. It's not really, I like everything that comes along with it, I just like everything, about it other than the actual fighting. I don't have any fun doing that or the stress leading up to it, so, I've done commentating before and really enjoyed it, thought it was fun. I've looked at maybe, I've thought about managing fighters in the future. I thought a lot about that because I don't think anyone could have managed my career to this point better than I have, I got to the UFC without ever having really beaten anyone of note, and it looks like I'm hopefully going to get another shot in the UFC again without really having beaten anyone of note. Not because I've tried to fight guys, like I've tried to fight Arlovsky, tried to fight Fedor, tried to fight Brett Rogers, since the UFC cut me and haven't had any luck having it happen. And a lot of people misunderstand when I say that. They think I'm putting a post on the internet saying I want to fight Andre Arlovsky. Like, that's not the case. I was contacted by Pro Elite on 2 separate occasions for 2 separate promotional dates, 2 separate fights. Offered a fight with Andre Arlovsky, accepted it, agreed to the money, agreed to the terms, ready to sign the contract, and Arlovsky wouldn't do it, or his team wouldn't do the fight. Same thing with Fedor. I almost had the Fedor fight, and they decided to go with Jeff Monson instead. When Monson fought Fedor, I was in consideration for that one too. Jeff Monson and I are both managed by Monty Cox. So, like I said, people sometimes have a misunderstanding. They think when I say I'm trying to fight these guys, but I'm just saying, I'd be willing to fight this. Those fights are in the works, trying to happen. But after I waited for 2 or 3 of them that never ended up happening. I thought, I'm just going to try to fight every month. Good opponent, bad opponent, doesn't matter. I'm just going to try to fight and stay busy until something bigger comes along because, I can fight twice a year and everybody can forget about me, or I can fight 10 times this year and at least I'm still staying somewhat relevant, still racking up the wins, and hopefully, if nothing else, if I can't get quality opponents, hopefully, if I win 10 or 12 straight outside the UFC, I would think at that point they would have to look at me again or give me another shot.
All right, well, I definitely hope that hope that works out for the best. I'd love to see you back in the UFC and competing. I loved all the trash talk with guys like Stefan Struve. I thought made the heavyweight division very exciting. So I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, I thought so too. That was Struve's a really, really nice guy, and I tried to contact him before the fight and said, man, listen, I'm going to try to say some outrageous stuff. Like, you know, like, well, I think we should build this fight. He wasn't interested, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. You don't have to do it. And it moved all the way to the main event without him saying anything, you know. So I can only imagine if I had someone that would cooperate. So.
Well, I think you did. I think you did a great job. You know, I think you pretty much promoted that fight all on your own, and it was definitely something that by the end of it, the fans were really looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, and then I thought that would earn me more than 2 losses straight before I got cut in the UFC, but apparently I was wrong.
Yeah, well,
it's not.
Yeah, it seems that there's different rules for everybody, I think, but hopefully,
Apparently.
Yeah. Well,
I was joking with somebody. Please don't print this. But I was joking with somebody. They said, "Yeah, your regrets looking back on the UFC." I said, "Yeah, I guess I wish I would have got spectacularly knocked out every time I lost, because that's working for Christian Morecraft. Like he's 1-3 in the UFC, been knocked out 3 times, highlight reel knockouts, and he's still in the UFC. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there."
I know, it is a mystery, but like I say, we'd hope to see you in the UFC again before long, or definitely fighting for one of the big promotions, maybe Bellator. But anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and good luck this Saturday.
Okay, appreciate it.
Right. Thank you very much, man. Take care.